Well, my friends, we're here to answer the age-old question, what happens when the unstoppable meme, aka Queen Bess, meets the immovable meme, Grimgore Ironhide? Well, guys, we're going to find out in this showdown. It's going to be Vampire Coast, led by Solastra atop her crab, facing off against the Greenskins, who are going to be helmed by Grimgore Ironhide. So, man, I'm really excited to show this replay. It was quite a bit of fun, so let's jump right into it and have some fun. So firstly, up in the sky, we have the glorious Air Force. We're going to be trying these guys out. You know, they don't get much of a shake nowadays. There were nerfs to deck droppers before, but these are the standard pistol variants. They're going to be the Walmart version, the cheaper version. You don't need a ton of AP against Greenskins. I mean, if you're shooting at like Biggins, they have 50 armor. Goblin Archers have 15 armor. Squigs have low armor. So I figured these guys might be okay for harassing the back line, just getting in there and diving if need be. And we'll see how they do. We have 3 of them. On top of that, in the front line, we're going to be going with deckhand mobs, 2 groups of Sirens. And I do like Sirens. They have good armor piercing. So if they're going up against like Black Orcs, for example, they're able to kind of wear them down over the course of a long battle. And they're also ethereal. So the Greenskins don't have a ton of magic damage. They do have Fist of Gork and a couple of, vortex spells and things like that. But typically these guys do last a long time. And I think they're going to be pretty good here in this matchup, considering they do cause terror. So Morgul's were often the go-to for terror. But I think now that Morgul's do not cause terror anymore, that Sirens might be a little bit, I wouldn't say better, but they might be okay in this matchup. We got the Sirens. We got Solastra on the crab. So Greenskins have often struggled against like big terror causing monsters. So we're going to be getting in there with Solastra, summoning those damned Knights Errant, and also using the Fog of the Damned. So we do have a Vampire Caster for Invocation and Raise Dead, but we're also going to be potentially using Fog of the Damned if the game does get very, late and I'm surrounded and there's, everything's a little bit beat up. I figured this might be something that could cause a mass rout and also help out. So we're going to be trying that. On top of that, we do have Queen Bessie. Oh, Bessie. She's going to be up on the high ground here, dropping some sweet thunder there on the Greenskins, but you can see the first shot has missed. Nice little dodge there by the Greenskins. And we do also have some Depth Guard back here. So Depth Guard, get crumped pretty bad by the Black Orcs. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep these guys back here as a defensive unit and bring them out in the late game when the Greenskins are already beat up and see how that goes. And we have one group of Halberds, and I believe there's some scurvy creatures over here on the far side. Yes, one group of scurvy dogs. So for the forces of the Greenskins in the front line, it's going to be Goblins, a combination of Biggins and Black Orcs, which is really good. Biggins have enough DPS to just punch through any zombies. They have anti-large against Morgul's and animated Hulks. And the Black Orcs just honestly deal very well with Depth Guard. So it's a really nice front line. It has plenty of AP, plenty of anti-large, and I think it's incredibly solid. On top of that, there's some Night Goblin Archers just to give him a little bit of peppering power. So 3 of those. Night Goblin Shaman with Sneaky Stabbin' and Gork will fix it. Grimgore Ironhide without Get Snick. He's got the wah though. He's ready to go. He's ready to party. And on top of that, there's also some Forest Goblin Spider Riders and some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's going to be a great battle. BESS versus Grimgore. Who is going to be the ultimate meme? We will find out today. So right here, you can see Queen Bessie's going to be taking some pot shots at the Black Orcs, but these are no mere Black Orcs. These are the most nimble of Black Orcs, able to dodge all of my assaults with Queen Bess so far. And my deck droppers are going to be getting hit with a Gork will fix it. I came in to poke a little bit, but the Goblins appeared out of stealth, obviously. I believe they're Night Goblin Archers, so they have stock, so I don't take too much damage. A little bit of poke here, but we do fall back, and they're still relatively fast. I mean, 23 speed's pretty slow, actually, so those guys are going to be trying to fall back here. The poison from the arrows, plus also the Gork will fix it, puts them down to 23 speed. Now, we've made some okay contact with Bessie. I kept switching Bessie back and forth between Black Orcs, because, if you kind of try and confuse your opponent, make them react to multiple attacks, it's better than just sitting on the same one in which they can anticipate it. So we're switching back and forth, and we have done a little bit of damage against Black Orcs, but Bessie certainly hasn't paid for herself yet. 1,600 gold is quite a bit, and, not the most accurate of lasses. Plus, I also don't have a gunnery white, so we don't have any way of getting more ammo. So over here, Solastra is going to be jumping onto the Biggins with the support of some deckhand mobs, and the Crab should be able to pound down some of the Biggins here. Although they do have the wah, which is a little bit unfortunate, so they're going to be crumping through my zombies, even the Goblins will. And here we get a nice square shot, so finally Bessie making some contact here, able to melt some Black Orcs, only killing 2 models, but leaving a pretty big crater there in the formation. And here I'm going to be getting the deck droppers and just setting them in the center away from the archers and basically just shooting at Biggins. I feel like Biggins are a pretty good target, although the deck droppers, the damage output seems a little bit lackluster for sure. But, over the course of a long battle, hopefully it'll add up. My dogs are trying to run from Squigs, but the Squigs are hot on the tail, and he also has some Biggins who could potentially cut me off. So I must have just lapsed on my micro there. So some of the scurvy dogs do get caught, but it's not a huge deal. So anyways, here Queen Bess is going to be dropping some thunder on the Black Orcs and getting some work in. Sirens are being kept in reserve until the wall wears off. And here we have plunged the Sirens into the front line. And it's a good fight. They're fighting Biggins. I mean, Biggins will be able to punch them down, but again, I get that ethereal resistance. Grimgore is going to be popping Standard Ground and Foe Seeker, and I don't have any real way of sniping Grimgore. Like with Luther Harkin, for example, I could just sit over him and shoot him, but with the Crab Lady, it's going to be a little bit trickier. So right here, Solastra is going to be beating down some of the Black Orcs. In the back, Queen Bess is still, in good shape. And we miss narrowly again against those Black Orcs. Just really unfortunate stuff there. But the damn Knight Errants in the back are getting in there and buttering the bread of Night Goblin Archers. But they are summoned, so they're going to be disappearing relatively soon, in about probably 20 or 30 seconds. And Arrow's done a really good job of keeping goblins and other troops back here to kind of, muck these guys up and let his archers escape. However, the deck droppers are doing an okay job. We're just sitting on the Night Goblin archers who are terrified by the Damned Knights Errant, and we are getting some decent shots there. In the back, he's getting some good pressure, so some biggins have made a long quest through the through the Misty Mountains here, and they're finally going to make it over to the back. Now, this is where the Depth Guard coming in. He has pressure, I think, just from this one side. So the Depth Guard will be surging in to meet these guys, and the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, I mean, yeah, Depth Guard will be able to kill them fairly easily. I mean, those guys have really good DPS. We've also moved our Halberds over here to kind of intercept these guys, and our reserve group of Sirens are going to be rushing in to meet the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. They're pretty fast, I think. They have like, when they're not poisoned, I think their speed's like 48 or something. Over here, Celostra is doing an okay job kind of holding it down to the front line, providing some good armor-piercing attacks against the Black Orcs. The Song of Enthrallment has gone down as well, so these guys are going to be relatively neutered in terms of their offensive output, down to 10 melee attacks. Yeah, a little bit low there. And the Crab Person is taking some missile damage, so finally the Goblin Archers are online, starting to really just wail on my deck droppers. Pretty brutal stuff there, and they're probably going to be switching onto Celostra from now. I mean, even though she has 150 armor, 1 damage, it does add up eventually. So here on the far side, GRIMGORE finally is able to get through the Sirens. They did an okay job. I mean, I'm surprised the biggins, I guess it was probably because GRIMGORE. I mean, I think GRIMGORE there was just chopping. And if GRIMGORE can sit and just beat on a target that's not running or moving, I mean, he's going to get value eventually. His weapon strength is 500 and his melee attack is 70. His big weakness, of course, is being kited and things like that. But I was a little bit slow on the kite. I probably should have pulled back those Sirens earlier. So here we have the Depth Guard who are going to be holding back this tide of biggins, and we also get a flank from the Sirens. So we should be able to win this fight here and finish off these biggins plus these Squig Hoppers, but there's another group of goblins coming in, and these are the ROR goblins. I do have some deckhand mobs here who are going to be engaging, so they shamble forth the glorious charge to end all charges. We have the fight of fights. So we're going to see if the deckhand mobs can finish off these goblins here. Probably. Those goblins are very beat up, and we do have some supporting fire shooting them in the back from the deck droppers. Now, the big issue here is in the front. You could see Celostra is a little bit, he's just caught up here. She has a Vampire Fleet Captain helping. In the back, we do have some zombies who I tried to summon to just harass those archers, but Greenskins are pretty beat up here, but so am I. I don't have anything left really in the front line. Celostra is a little bit in a bad position. I probably should have pulled her back earlier and gotten her up and around, but now there's another group of full health Black Orcs, and man, that is a meaty presence to take care of. Like we guessed over here, the biggins and the squigs were taken out for the most part. And the Night Goblins here are still holding on pretty strong, actually. But the zombies have taken some pretty heavy casualties as well. But yeah, I should be able to kind of hold those guys off. But it's kind of irrelevant at this point because Queen Bess is just out of ammunition. So I really this game, Queen Bess has not paid for herself. I mean, Aerocrastic has had some really good dodges, but I feel like, and we also discussed this, without a gunnery wight, I mean, Queen Bess is it just doesn't have enough ammo to really just get that long-term value. And the accuracy is a little bit questionable. I mean, it's not bad, but against high-level opponents who are going to be aware and watching, it's pretty easy to dodge. So deck droppers in the meantime are out of ammo as well, but now they can kind of serve as fellbats. These guys have done okay. 28, 32, and then it looks like 32. Wait, 32. Oh yeah, 32 on both of those. They've done pretty good, just harassing and peppering and pressuring archers. You can see here I was able to shatter some of those Night Goblin archers, and from here I can actually just attack these guys in close quarters combat. Deck droppers have 26 melee attack. I mean, it's not terrible, so I should be able to maybe polish those guys off. Celostra in the meantime has put the moves on GRIMGORE. She's a little bit faster than him, and she is able to break these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, and is also going to be slapping up some of these regular goblins who are terrified. So she's doing pretty good down here, and I think she's a good pick in this matchup. Celostra is probably, I'm trying to think of who I would rate as the best picks. Honestly, I think that Luther Harkin is probably the best pick in the Greenskin matchup, but I think that, she's pretty close because GRIMGORE can actually, or Luther can fly over and add a cooldown to the Watt ability of all the Greenskin, lords and stuff like that. So here we're going to be trying to juke. We don't want to sit and fight GRIMGORE with Black Orcs and biggins, so we're going to be trying to get back to our depth guard. It's kind of our last bastion of hope. We really need these infantry to kind of buffer the ground so Celostra isn't just being beaten down. And the other Black Orcs have made it up to the high ground. Queen Bess is pretty much offline, so that's not really a factor here. And the Bounce Fire is in the favor of the Greenskins, not by much though. It's a pretty close game here, trying to get away with the Vampire Caster. Gork will fix it, puts her down to 20 speed. And there's also a herd of goblins. Oh, GRIMGORE coming in with the axe, and he's like, oh, wait a second. Oh, what's going on here? GRIMGORE getting a little bit confused. Bowseeker has been popped, and I do summon some zombies here to kind of buffer up these Greenskins. I'm like, all right, let's hold them back. And here I kind of thought about it. I'm like, excuse me, oh man, dry throat. I kind of thought about it. I was like, do I want to go after GRIMGORE, try and snipe him out with Celostra? I mean, her damage output is okay, 380, but GRIMGORE hits quite a bit harder than Celostra, so I'm like, let's pull back, let's get on the depth guard so you can see I'm going to be trying to unify my forces here, and hopefully form a bit of a Helm's Deep. So in the back, the Night Goblin Archers are still being hunted down by the deck droppers, so I'm really happy with their performance this game. It's a unit that I don't use terribly often, but I really think it had good applications, and if Greenskins have an Archer line or Rusty Arrows or things like that, it's pretty good for harassing, and the light DPS isn't bad against lightly armored Greenskin troops, so I think there's something to take home from that matchup here. So Celostra is going to be falling back with the Depth Guard, my Vampire Caster as well. In the meantime, the deck droppers are going to be attacking the other archers, and they're doing a good job. And they might even be able to finish the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, hard to say. But Slauster's in her final battle. Depth Guard are going to be engaging. Song of Enthrallment's going down as well. And the wall goes down. So both of us kind of canceling each other out in terms of damage stats. And Slauster's doing a good job, but there's a lot of anti-large, a lot of armor and piercing, immune to psych troops nearby with the Black Orcs, and Grimgore is in good company. He's not alone. He's not being isolated. And oh my god, how funny would it be if the crab just picked up Grimgore and ate him? That would be so funny. But alas, Grimgore is getting some good chops on Solastra. Depth Guard are chewing through a lot of these troops here, and my Vampire Fleet Captain is going to be going after the Night Goblin Shaman, trying to beat that guy down, and it's getting some good value. The Night Goblin Shaman's actually broken, so now there's going to be no more Witchcraft here for the Greenskins. And this is it. This is the battle for the meme title here of Middle-earth. It's going to be Grimgore. I mean, Queen Bess is, she's done well. I'm not well, but, you know, she's done her thing. And so now we're going to see if Grimgore can, you know, finish strong. So Grimgore is coming in here. He's going to be chopping Solastra. Solastra has 2.9. He has 3.4. And her leadership's pretty questionable. It's at 19 right now. There's a bunch of goblins coming in. The rear charge is certainly going to be penalizing, putting her down to negative stats. So at this point, I charge in with all my deck droppers. We're just throwing all of the spaghetti at the wall, so we're going to see what sticks. Depth Guard coming in and actually chewing up the Black Orcs with a little bit of support here from the Vampire Fleet Captain. But I just think Solastra is not going to hold on. I think that, oh, Grimby, he's taunted, but he's getting in there. He's tired of being made fun of. He's had enough of this shit. He's coming in. He wants vengeance for all the times I made fun of him, and it looks like he might get it. It's really, really close, but I think the Bounce Power is going too heavily in favor of the Greenskins, and most of my army is going to be deck droppers and a couple other troops and things like that. But Solastra's got 1,600. I mean, she's trying her heart out. Grimgore's still got pretty much full health, and it looks like some Goblin Archers in the back are really going to be helpful, actually. That little damage does add up over the course of a long battle. And the Depth Guard are doing okay. They're up to 96 kills. I do think Depth Guard are very good in this matchup. As long as you can avoid Black Orcs and you know, AP units like that, they're going to be really good. Granted, Squigs and Black Orcs are somewhat common, so it's a little bit scary for them. But Solastra here is at negative 130, and that is going to be all she wrote for the forces of the Vampire Coast. So my apologies, I was a little bit distracted there. Wookie's messing around in the living room. But well played. It was a really fun game, and aside from Grimgore, the Dark Lord is emerged victorious. He has shown Queen Bess who is the true champion of this battle. And Bessie did okay, but yeah, you certainly got to cut Bess. And I think this, aside from maybe the Queen Bess and Grimgore, I think both of these builds are pretty good. So if you guys are looking for builds in this matchup, I think something like this could work. But again, if you wanted to make the Greenskins more competitive, you would probably switch lords to like Azag or Warzog, for example, just getting that massive Bonewood staff procs and different things like that. And Azag actually has pretty good AP as well, so you can send him in against like the Depth Guard. You could keep Solastra. I think she's pretty decent in this matchup. I would just cut Queen Bess and probably just get a little bit more meat in the army. Maybe another group of Depth Guard and a couple more. I don't know about more Scurvy Dogs. It's because Greenskins have really good battlefield control with Forest Goblin Spider Riders and Squig Hoppers and things like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at a build. But I think that Aerocrastics build is really solid. And yeah, he did a really good job controlling it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Well played to Aero. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel if you haven't in the comment section below. We're going to take a look at a Vampire Coast build for anyone who wants to see a more serious build against Greenskins. I'm going to give you something that I think would be pretty good. So here we have Luther Harkin up in the skies. The Magical Void, it's not a terrible thing to bring against Greenskins. I don't know, though. It is really expensive, so I would probably honestly cut that. So what you do is you Power Siphon. You do this on their walk. Whoever's going to cast a wall, and it makes it so they can't use it for quite some time. It's really, really good. The Salon Gold, you probably don't need that. Keeping him, he's already very expensive, so I think keeping him a little bit cheaper is going to be prudent. So some deckhand mobs is pretty much a staple. You're going to need those guys. I think 2 Sirens. I actually like these guys quite a bit. I think the Terror plus the AP and the fact that they do lower the combat stats of what they're hitting is quite good. From here, I mean, you could go with the deck droppers. I wonder if the handgun variant might just be better, just objectively, because they're pretty good against, that would help more in the Black Orc situation, but they're a lot more expensive. I mean, that's a lot cheaper, guys. I probably wouldn't go for any artillery, to be honest. I just don't think it's worth it. Luther's going to be flying overhead, causing a lot of problems. And again, I think that if you're going to be going with a big, expensive character like this, you're probably going to want a caster just to heal you. You're going to want Invocation and Hex. So aside from that, we'll go with these guys. And I think 2 Depth Guard would be good. The Depth Guard are really good at killing Biggins and like all Greenskin infantry. You just need to make sure they stay away from Squigs and Black Orcs. So it's going to be just like keep them on top of zombies and just keep them buffered, and you should be okay. Now, as far as missiles go, I mean, you can, but it's a little bit tricky. The Greenskins are really good at enveloping you and just doing a lot of work in that respect. So I would probably stay away from those. But deck droppers could be okay. So I do like the Lamprey's Revenge. I think that helps a lot against the Black Orcs. And now from here, we don't have too much money left. So yeah, I think going with the regular guys is going to be good. Just the cheapo ones. And is there any funds we can cut? We want Power Siphon. We want Taunt. The Hunger is really, really important in my opinion. Some people cut it. I'm a fan of it. I think it's really good. So maybe just cut one group of Sirens. Just keep one as utility for the Terror. Yeah, I think that's more what you bring them for. And then from there, maybe a couple Scurvy Dogs. Scurvy dogs are going to be good at kind of harassing the back line. And you could honestly cut the Jack droppers and just make it more blitzy if you want, just with more armored crabs. But I really do like having that utility just to kind of fly and poke things and do it to it. So we're going to get 2 of the Scurvy dogs here. And from there, and at least like if they're chasing Scurvy dogs with Spider Riders, they're not like harassing your other stuff, right? So yeah, something like this I think would be a little bit better. So well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the game, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.